So this is the guide for how to connect the Circuit Playground Bluetooth board to the shared game timer. It basically is this part of the guide. So there's plenty of text here for details. I'm going to run through this pretty quickly. And if you are unclear about anything, then either read the text, and if it's still unclear, then by all means, reach out to me and I'll try to help you one-on-one. But I'm going to run through this pretty quickly now. So what we need to do first is we need to create a test game, just anything, because in order to make the connection, you need to do it from inside of a game. Feel free to create a test game if you like. You can always delete them afterwards by going to the main screen, click Manage, and then you can delete the games here. So I'm going to add a test play here. Color. I'm going to divide the game into rounds when everyone passes so that we can see what happens then, and then click Start Game. So on the game page, we go in under Additional Actions down here, go to Remote Controls, and go to Set Up Bluetooth. So it'll probably be an empty screen like this, and it's under this link here that you do the setting up. And you do all of the one-time setup in here. So first we need to add a service, and the service is written out in the guide here. It's this text here. It also happens to be the example text that I got here. And I think all of the Adafruit boards had the same service UID. So once you've added one, it should work for all of them. Name it whatever you want. I'm going to name it Nordic UART because I think that is the technology underpinning this. And then you click the arrow to connect to it. And you should see the Circuit Playground here. Click Pair. And that makes a connection to it so that we can basically do the setup process. The setup process is a little bit involved, but with the guide in hand, it should be easy to do. There's plenty of information here about how this actually works. I'm going to leave you to read that on your own. So on the write script, this is what we are going to write from the game timer to the board. And the script that works together with the code that we put on the board is this here. So copy that, paste it in here. And if you want to test it, you can click Test. The test basically pretends that we have a red player and that we are moving it into a playing state at 142 seconds into the turn. So that's about three minutes in. So it should light up 3 lights like this in red. So that seems to be working. So we are going to name this script, we can name it Playground Write, for example. Click Save. So that saves this for later use, and we'll see that here in a bit. But first, we're going to go down to the action mapping. So this is the reverse of what we just did. This is when the board sends information about what happens to the board to the shared game timer. And we have a log here, and it should say connected here. This is something that the board immediately sends as soon as it makes a connection to the game timer. But if we do things here, like pressing buttons, we should see the log changing. So if I press the A button, I should see an A. If I press the B button, I should see that B. If I press both at the same time, I should see AB. If I move the switch back and forth, I should see it saying switch on and off. And if I shake it, kind of fun, I should see shake coming up. So those are pieces of text that the board sends to us. Now we can map those to actions. So we have these actions here that we can choose between. And all what we do is that we select a keyword. So for example, connected. I'm going to map that to poll. I'm going to anything that has the word switch in it, I'm going to connect that to toggle pause. So that is going to capture both switch on and switch off. So these keywords have to be found somewhere in the text, but it doesn't have to be the whole text. And the order of these are also important because for example, the keyword A, I'm going to map that to ending the turn. That will match both A and if I press both A and B, since the letter A is contained in AB. So AB, both buttons at the same time, is also going to match end turn. But I want that to match to toggle admin time. So these are evaluated in order. So I need to move this to be before the A. Otherwise, the A is going to basically overrule this and AB is never going to match. The B action, I'm going to map that to pass. And I think, is that it? End turn, pass, toggle admin, undo. No, we haven't done undo. I'm going to say that if we shake the board, that is going to do undo. So that's our mapping. I'm going to name this playground read. I'm going to save that. And so now that is saved for later use as well. So now that's the one-time setup. We don't have to do this every time we want to connect. If I go back to the main screen here, if I go into the test game now, in order to connect to what we just did, I go in under remote controls, set up Bluetooth, and here now we have our playground write and our playground read. We activate them, and here we say when should we send that write script to the board. We basically want to do it all the time. And for the read, we basically just activate this action mapping. Click connect, and pick the circuit playground. And now we are done. So now, if I press the A button, that should end the turn. If I press the B button, that should pass the round. If I shake it, that should undo the last thing I did. Yep, it did. The switch should go toggle pause. That's paused. I can go into presentation mode here, which makes it a little bit easier to see what's going on. So now pause again. Undo pause. If I want to go into admin time, I press both buttons at the same time. And again, to exit admin time. So that's now all working. So that's all you need to do in order to basically do this one-time setup, which takes a little bit of time. It's a little bit fiddly, but if you just follow the guide here, it should be easy to do. And after that, all you have to do to use the remote control in future games is that you go in and basically click activate here and then connect. And then that's it. Right? If you have any questions, do reach out to me. I'm happy to help at any point. If you want to reach me, go to the home page, scroll to the bottom, and here, that's my email address there, meeple@sharedgametimer.com, or you can just write me a message here, or reach out to me on any of these channels here. And with that, thank you and happy gaming.